Good morning, student. This is the second part of the chapter Globalization and the Indian Economy, Class 10, Subject Social Science. Student, in this section, we will begin from your textbook, page number 57, and our heading is Interlinking Production Across the Country. What interlinking means? Let us begin from where we left in the previous section. We have already discussed that multinational corporation do make the investment for establishing the production unit by certain factor, and those factors are that if there are certain things available to them, like it is mentioned that if the production unit set up by the MNC is closer to the market, so that they can reduce their transportation cost after producing the required product. Second, you can say that availability of skilled labor and unskilled labor at the cheapest available labor, means they are not wanting to pay higher to the labor. They are not wanting to increase the labor cost in the process of production. There is another factor, student, that they would like to get the raw material easily available to them, and by the means that if transportation costs don't go beyond the certain point that is considered by the MNC to keep their cost of production under the control. Another factors are also there, that whether the road conditions are good, supply of electricity for the process of production to take place without any interruption is there or not. Various other factors could also be considered by the multinational companies to set up their production unit. And the last factor, what is about the government policies in the countries. You will be surprised to read in this part that these MNCs are so powerful. They have the kind of wealth, it is written in your textbook that these MNCs are having the resources larger than their wealth is larger than the GDP of the various developing and underdeveloped country. You can imagine the power of the multinational companies. So one thing that they look for, that suitable government policies that can help them in the process of production. If not, using their money power, what they can do, they can make the change in the policies by influencing the politicians of these countries, so that there are going to be legislative changes in the policies suitable to multinational companies. Once these things are achieved, it means if there is skilled and unskilled labor available at the cheap cost, if the raw material is available, if the market is close to them, and if the policies are suitable to them, then these companies, multinational corporation, spend money to buy the assets in these country where they are willing to set up their production unit, like purchasing of the land, purchasing of the building, machinery, equipments, etc. And student, what they do is called investment. Investment can be defined in a simple word, that whenever by any company or by any individual in money is spent for the purpose of production, like purchasing of land, assets, raw material, it is called investment. And student, if this money is going to be invested from the other country or by the MNC, it is called foreign investment. Let me again repeat it for you. Whenever the investment is made by MNC, in a simple word, is called foreign investment, because the money has been invested from the other country. And what is investment? I made the point clear. When any individual or company, for the purpose of production or establishing a production unit, spend money to purchase land, assets, and other helpful and accessories things, is called investment. We are already aware that why any business unit or production unit do make the investment. Simple thing is to make the profit. Why multinational do make investment in countries other than where their origin belongs to increase their profit by reducing the cost of production. We have discussed this point in the previous section, student. We know that in the modern time, when there is a huge competition, selling price cannot be increased. So only possible means to increase the profit is that cost of production has to be decreased. This is the reason that multinational company look for condition like market after the product is produced, finally market has to be closed. If market will be closed, transportation cost will be less. That will help company to reduce the cost of production. If labor will be available at the cheap prices, company will again get higher margin. By reducing the cost of production, higher profit will be possible. Company will also look for other raw materials, electricity and road conditions, so that their work can be production work can continue without any hindrance, without any obstructions from these outer factors. So that is how company is willing to do this. Now question is that once these company come to the various countries, what they do, how they take the control in these. So there are various measures. Your book has given few measures, like number one, that these company using their huge wealth power sometime purchase the local companies and then increase the production. One of the best example given in your book is that the Cargill food company, which has purchased the Parak food of India. This company was making the oil. It was controlling the 4 oil refineries, and it was also having the large marketing network. So after being purchased by the Cargill foods, now this is under the all the production purpose and all the production activities under the control of the Cargill food, and now it has become the largest supplier of the oil product. That is itself giving you a good idea. Your book has mentioned that what amount it is going to spend, what production has increased. It is mentioned that Cargill is now the largest producer of edible oil in India, with a capacity to make 5 million pouches daily. It means now its production has been profitable not to Parak, rather to the Cargill company. That's how this is the one means. We have already discussed in the previous page number 57. I didn't discuss one thing, that there was an image showing you that what multinational company do if workforce, if labor start demanding for higher wages. Company close their production unit and try to find another place in another country where they can get the cheap labor available to them. This is why you find that many of the multinational companies find China and India very attractive place. Reason, the labor is quite cheap in our countries. Both in India and China, it is quite cheap. This is one reason. Now moving to what can be other means to control, because we have discussed the Parak case and we have discussed that these company can purchase the local company. Now another means is that sometimes large companies, large multinational corporation give the order for the production to the small producer in these developing countries, and they are being asked to make the production for these companies. Large number of small producers supply the product to the large multinational companies, and then multinational companies use their tag, their logo, to prove to the customer that it is the brand being produced by multinational companies. Two images are shown on page number 58. There is a jeans brand on which is produced locally by our small producers, but later on the tag is showing that it was produced by the multinational company, some big brand, and then it is selling at rupees 6,500 or 145 US dollar. This is good example. Another picture is showing you the manufacturing of the sports article taking place, that is football. Once it will be sold, it will be given to the large companies for the purpose of making giving the logo, putting their tag on the product, and then selling at a higher prices. This is another means by which you can say that the product has been supplied, product has been produced by the efforts of the small producer, large number of small producer, but it is considered that it has been produced by the large multinational companies. Student, there is another example mentioned on this page that is shown to you, is that few other measures are also taken by the multinational companies. What they do, sometime they compete with the local company and try to eliminate by outsmarting these local company, and later establish their monopoly in these developing and underdeveloped countries. There is another thing, sometimes they make the joint venture, means they get into the partnership. I can give you various examples. In 1980s 80 to 90s, there was a company producing the cycle, which was a hero company. Later a company came that called Honda and had a joint venture for making the motorcycle for company that was Hero Honda. Now we know that their partnership has broken, and both of these are making in different, under different name. Hero is making their different brand. Hero is making the motorcycle and other vehicles under the name Hero Motocorp, and Honda is making another product. But there was a long time when under the partnership these company has produced. There are various other example. I would suggest you find it yourself. I believe that in all the fields you will find that the various companies are involved of the multinational by establishing a partnership in the direction of production of, in the direction for production of these products, student. This is how we have understood that if the production process is getting involved in any of these means, like making a partnership or giving order to the small producer of these developing and underdeveloped countries, or by competing the local companies, or by establishing the partnership, you can say that the production process has been interlinked. The production of a particular product has involved more than one countries, and the resources of various countries are used. That is why we can say that these days process of production has become interlinked. On page number 49, student, there is an example of a automobile giant company called Ford Motor. I would suggest you open the page, read it yourself. This automobile company has established its production unit in Chennai in India, spending around 1700 crore rupees, that is called investment, for producing the various car for the Indian market, as well as selling it to the nearby places and across the world like Brazil, Mexico, South Africa, etc. This company is not only making the car, rather making the component and supplying it to various countries where the car of Ford companies are being sold, so that whenever the services are required or repair of these car are required, company can provide the appropriate component as per the need. But you can see that in this entire process, multinational company has involved the various things. Let us read it. I'm reading it, this paragraph for you, on given on page number 59, and then there are certain questions being asked to you. Few I am discussing with you and leaving it others questions so that you can do it yourself. If there are problem, your online classes are going on, ask your subject teacher, they will help you to understand. Or if any problem are there, like you are asking questions through the YouTube, you can be asking also. Student, this is written: Ford Motors, an American company, is one of the world's largest automobile manufacturers with production spread over 26 countries of the world. It means this country has its base and production unit in almost 26 countries. Ford Motor came to India in 1995 and spent rupees 1700 crore to set up a large plant near Chennai. This was done in collaboration with Mahindra and Mahindra, a local Indian company in the automobile sector, a major Indian manufacturer of Jeep and trucks. By the year 2017, Ford Motors was selling 88,000 cars in the Indian market, while another 1,81,000 cars were exported from India to South Africa, Mexico, and Brazil and United States of America. Company wants to develop Ford India as it is mentioned that as a component supplying base for its other plant across the globe. It is not only wanting that our local Chennai factory should be producing only the car, it should be producing the component for other areas where these things, the entire car can be made and or assembled. Student, why India is being given a lot of preferences? Because we have discussed that cheap labor. Skilled and unskilled labor is quite cheap over here. India is also rich in the terms of availability of raw material. Our development in the infrastructure has taken place over the 20-30 years. That is also a area of concern for these multinational companies, because they are ensured that the productivity will be good and without any obstructions. Now few questions asked to you. I don't want to answer every single question, but if any doubts are there, you can ask, like you people are already asking about your doubts. Would you say Ford Motor is a MNC? Yes, you can say Ford Motor is MNC, because it is written in the box that it is involving the production process across the world, involving 26 countries. We have already discussed that when the process of production involve more than 2 countries, it is called MNC. So it's quite simple. What is foreign investment? 1700 crore rupees is invested in Indian market by the multinational company called Ford Motor. And how much did Ford Motor invest in India? We have the first part is, what is foreign investment? The investment made by the MNC is called foreign investment. Whenever any investment is done from one country to the other country, then it is called foreign investment. You can write in your own language. It is not necessary that you always write what is written in the textbook or through the worksheet. Though I am providing answer, but it is not meant for you to just copy down the information. If you are capable of making your own answer, you should be doing that, student. Remaining question, I would suggest you read it yourself. I don't want to give answer for all the question, otherwise you will not be using your own mind, or your own you will not be able to judge the ability of your finding the answers or understanding the concept. So it is better you discuss with the subject teacher in the online classes. Thank you, student.